Hello, everybody. Sessions, the crisis expert. Just so you know, I live into many organizations and teach organizations crisis management, teach executives how to make split-second decisions. During COVID, the crisis has become a crisis of a proportion that no one ever expected. But that's okay. We're going to keep it rocking. There's information that we need to be aware of just to keep ourselves safe. Forgive that sound, but I'm in the ER. Did not know it was going to start going up. It was going to start going off. What we're going to learn today are the people who are symptomatic. I was reading an article, and once a person found out a few things, they said, "Wow, I had no idea that I was infecting people." All right, just real quick. Currently, about 10 million people in this country are infected. Within the medical world, we think that it's a lot more than that, at a minimum of about 20 million people, which means that 1 in 30 people are likely have COVID. And it also means that we have to protect ourselves against them. We've got to protect ourselves. When I say protect ourselves against them, know how to identify them. One rule that's going to come out of this is, and we follow this in medicine, practice it in my own household. And by the way, for those people who are joining me on my new Facebook page, on my new YouTube channel, there's some rules that we have. One of the rules are we assume that everyone that we come in contact with is COVID positive. Everyone we come in contact is COVID positive. And then the other rule is we're kind. We're kind to one another in our comments. Here we go. Those people who are infecting people who have COVID, most of them may not know it. Now, the recent study showed that 49% of people who are COVID positive, adults, start off asymptomatic, but then they convert to symptoms. They convert to having symptoms. Asymptomatic means that they have active COVID, but they don't know it. They have active COVID, but they don't know it. But that 49% of those convert and have symptoms. Now, with that also, but the upside is about 16% of adults who are COVID positive do not develop any symptoms at all. Follow me. I know where I'm going with these numbers. Now, with children, we always said that, oh, they don't have symptoms. They do fine. Well, actually, only about 30% of children don't have any symptoms. The problem is, or the issue is, the parents don't know how to identify the symptoms in the children, which means that about 70% of COVID positive children have symptoms, but the parent just has not identified it, which means that they're sending these kids to school, to daycare, to sporting events. We've got to learn to identify these symptoms. And the most common ones are cough in children, runny nose, shortness of breath, fever, the regular upper respiratory symptoms. If you have those symptoms, don't send them to school. For those people who are going to school, don't send them to after daycare and sporting events. Excuse me. Now back to those adults. We're going to talk about 3 different types of them. We're going to talk about the asymptomatic people. Those are people who have active disease, but they don't have any symptoms, but they go on and they develop symptoms. I'm sorry, they have active virus, but they don't have any symptoms. We're going to talk about the pre-symptomatic people. Pre-symptomatic means that they don't have any symptoms. They have active virus. There's nothing the matter with them, but they do go on and develop symptoms. And then we're going to talk about those people who have full-fledged symptoms and they're infectious. Believe it or not, they're all in the same group. Why? Because they are all extremely infectious. Your asymptomatic people with no symptoms at all. 2, your pre-symptomatic patients, people, the ones who do not have, who have active virus, but they don't have any symptoms. And then your people who are symptomatic and they're in their first couple of days. They all have acute active viral loads. Let's not confuse this. Think about the pre-symptomatic and asymptomatic people in the very same way. What is my point? Is they all have the same viral load. They're equally infectious. If you don't learn anything from this particular video, what you should learn is the golden rule that we've been using and apply it to your life. Assume that everyone you come in contact with is COVID positive. Now let's pause real quick, because what's becoming very apparent, this is just in my practice and talking to patients and family members. And I have not read about this I've read a little bit about it, but it's what I'm experiencing and in hearing. There's this strange assumption that people make that because someone's a family member or because they know them, therefore they're safe. Well, I get that if you live in the same household with them. I get that, except if you have a teenager, but I get that if you live in the same household. But there are families who get together from all over the city or all over the county, all over the state, and they come together as if, oh, we're good because we're a family. People, that's not medically science-based, and that is not true, which is why you see large outbreaks at large family gatherings, large funerals, even weddings. And for a period of time there, back in August, the biggest transmitters were small family gatherings. Rid yourself of thinking that just because you know someone or they are a family member, that they're not infectious. What's the rule? We assume that everyone's COVID positive. The reason why that's important is it forces us to put our mask on. It forces us to protect ourselves and to deal with them as if they are COVID positive. And this is what's very key. 45% of all transmissions are caused by those people who are in the pre-symptomatic or the asymptomatic phase. 45%, so roughly 50% of all transmissions are caused by people who don't even know they have active virus. Roughly 50%, I'm being redundant, yes, of transmissions are caused by people who don't even know they have the virus. What is my point? Everybody. Assume that everyone that you come in contact with is COVID positive, unless you live in the same household with them. If you live in the same household with your little your little young kids who are between the ages of 0 and 5, and they go to any type of daycare, aftercare, or interact with other kids, then just know that that's the most infectious group of people of them all. And now let's deal with these teenagers just real quick. Before somebody sends me an email saying, well, am I talking about teenagers? And yeah, I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. And the colleges are a great example. We were all young. Yes, they should socially distance and wear their masks. But we should have known that they were not going to socially distant and wear their mask. That's why they're a fast-growing population in terms of infectivity. Yes, our teenagers are probably our teenagers and young people, those below the age of 25, are probably the most infectious group of people. Be careful from them. You see them, you probably want to stay away from them. If you have a teenager in the house, you probably have to exercise some greater leadership and put some kind of restraints on them. And I get it. That's difficult. But after all, we're trying to save some lives. And more importantly, we're trying to change the world. Why? Because the world needs to be changed, and it's the right thing to do. And rid yourself of allowing anyone to thinking that we're going to need to have herd immunity. Herd immunity will work if you have a vaccine. Herd immunity will work if you have a vaccine. Without a vaccine, meaning 70% of the country gets infected, that means about over 3 to 5 million people will die. That's not our goal. Our goal here is to save lives. So your take-home point today is, oh, and by the way, many of us people will get COVID, and it's okay. Most of us will be fine. I've attached a bit.ly here that you should download in case you get COVID, how to treat at home. So I would encourage you to hit that bit.ly. Everyone, the take-home point is assume everyone you come in contact with is COVID positive. The most infectious group of people are those the asymptomatics, the pre-symptomatics, and those who are symptomatic in those first couple of days. Let's be safe. Let's be kind. Let's look out for one another. And to this, and as it relates to this virus, we're going to get through this together. And don't worry, we're going to deal with the mental health part of this real soon. Because if you're feeling anxious and stressful, it's all right. That is pretty normal. We've never been through something like this in the past. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Vanyetta, what's going on?